I'd say the hardest thing just on a side note, is selling a product that no one's ever heard of or ever seen. We're not inventing things. I'm not an inventor. I didn't invent a new product to try and get people to early adopt. We were simply selling a product that we knew had some traction and other people were selling it, smaller companies, dropshipping companies, etc. But we just looked to do it better. Everyone that's saying, oh, look how much money I made $1.5 million last month selling on Shopify for my e-commerce brand. What good is it if you spent $975,000 on ads?
Right. Okay.
And then you have shipping costs. So it's not like everyone's making out to seem you're printing money with no cost, unless you find a great influencer or you're friends with a really famous person that's willing to promote your product for free. By the second summer, I mean, I would wake up and $5,000 every day while you're sleeping. You wake up $5,000. You know, we were making $60,000, $70,000 a month. It started with my friend Zach and just one truck, and did little cleanups and loading and unloading things from a truck. So now it's grown in from one, I think, Chevy Colorado or Chevy Dakota to 3 work trucks, 2 dump trailers, Bobcats. I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the work. It'd be very hard to do this work every day if I absolutely hated it, no matter how much money I'm making. Just like the e-commerce, there were points where it wasn't enjoyable because, you know, whether it's dealing with a business partner or whatever, you know, you have to enjoy it to want to keep doing it. It doesn't matter how much money we were making. It's very hard to go and do something every day and be consistent at it and enjoy it.
I'm Andy Golding, partner and chief strategy officer of Kripke Enterprises. I'm excited to be here for my 6th episode of Toledo Works. In my podcast, I speak with self-made business owners from Toledo, Ohio, to uncover their stories of success, struggle, and achievements. This podcast is sponsored by Kripke Enterprises. At Kripke, recycling metal is not just good for the environment, it's good for business. This podcast is produced by Stewart Media Strategy. Today, I am thrilled to introduce my friend and distant cousin that I wish I could explain, Sammy Kale, a remarkable 22-year-old entrepreneur and the owner of Sammy's Visionary Landscape. Sammy's Visionary Landscape is a dynamic company that provides a diverse range of services, including landscape design, hardscape installation, outdoor carpentry, and construction. In this episode of Toledo Works, we have the privilege of delving into Sammy's inspiring entrepreneurial journey, from his beginnings as an internet entrepreneur to his decision to leave college in Boulder, Colorado, and return to Toledo. Sammy will share his remarkable story of his growth and expansion of his current business. Get ready to be inspired as we uncover the challenges, triumphs, and lessons learned along the way. Join us as Sammy Kale takes us on a captivating journey of determination and success in the world of entrepreneurship. Welcome, my cousin and friend, Sammy Kale.
Thank you, Andy. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm excited to kick off this episode.
That's fantastic. All right, so Sammy, one of the reasons why I know you wanted to be on this podcast to talk about the Visionary Landscape, I wanted you to be on the podcast to talk about your internet business that you had. How many years ago?
Started when we were 17. So what was that? End of sophomore year of high school.
All right, so 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago, and we were in business for just over 3.5, 4 years. So very new to the market at the time. And I actually started with a business partner of mine that I met in high school.
So you had a business, and the reason I wanted you to talk about this is because if you're on any social media today, you see tons of advertising about making money on the internet, being in the drop shipping business. Yeah. You see people on TikTok talking about how easy it is to be an Amazon this and an Apple that and an eBay whatever. And it's so easy to make money. What is the truth to that business? And tell us what your business was and how successful and what really happened.
Short and simple, the truth of it is like any business, getting it off the ground is not a 2-minute process. You don't flip a switch and create a website and hundreds of people walk in the door. And I'd say that's much like a brick and mortar store, unless you have some grand opening or some new hurrah. You're not creating a website and have what you might think is the greatest product ever and have 1 million people at your door the first day. Like anything, it comes down to a great product, a great brand, and in the end, great marketing for sure. So where we really kicked it off, and we did start as a drop shipping business, which for those who don't know, we were, for the first year, I did not see a product physically. So
You never touched a product?
No, never used the product. Well, I take that back. We did use the product once to test it. And
what was the what was
it
the
was
product?
a pour vacuum. So
pour P-O-R-E
yeah,
vacuum.
a pour vacuum. So when you have little whiteheads, blackheads, blemishes, wrinkles, it's definitely good for anti-aging. We had estheticians in the end that we partnered with, but I can kind of get to that in the journey. It started simply as a mediocre website, a interesting product that we were not the only people selling. There were countless other competitors, maybe not doing it the same as us, as good as us, but identical products. Walmart was selling the identical box and product that we were selling.
So you were able to sell something online that Walmart is selling as well at the same price, near the same price?
We were probably getting it for near the same price and maybe even selling it for more of a price because we started with a brand behind it while selling generic boxes. So I want to say, I'd have to look back, but I'd say the first 1,500 units, I never saw the package. I never shipped the package. All I would do was go on one site.
You'd go on. So explain this
you
a
want
little.
To know the sites?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter the sites, but explain this a little bit in detail because, again, people look on these TikToks and on social media, and what you're about to explain is what they make sound so simple, and the only thing you do is make money. Tell me in a little bit more detail.
When you're starting with drop shipping, your overhead is minimal. We started the business with $35. That's your basic Shopify subscription that handles your hosting, your e-commerce side of things. That does not include your product, your branding, and so on and so forth, what might come with the business. So we simply started with, we had our first sale with a 7-day free trial on Shopify with $0 spent, messaging countless influencers. So we would go on our phone. We had a generic product. We would go on our phone. We would message all of these influencers. We're not reaching out to giant influencers yet. That gets down the road. We're reaching out to influencers. Hi, we have this amazing product. We're Clear Pro Skin. We would love for you to try our product and make some content for us. In return, you get the product. And it started as that. We'd be sending out this product, again, not from us personally. I'd order it from our supplier. They'd ship it to these people's doorstep. They'd make a quick, we do short form and long form videos. They'd make a quick hype video. This is how it works, showing the results. That was the biggest selling point, showing the results.
Okay.
And in turn, we'd link the post and people would come and shop on our website.
And so how long from the time that you started this business with $35 account till you started seeing like sales?
I'd say to backtrack, it was not the first one we tried.
Okay, what was the first one?
Oh, there are countless. I have all the logins. I have De Soleil. We were going to do a sunglasses brand. Same concept, same but branding, selling higher end sunglasses. We were going to do Council Heroes.
Are you saying that you would buy a standard brand and then a standard pair of black sunglasses and then you made the name up and made it your brand?
Yep, and that's where you get into white labeling.
Okay.
So white labeling is taking a generic product, throwing your brand, your label on it, because there's no copyright laws in a lot of these countries, as they're very hard to infringe here if it's not copyrighted or trademarked on the certain product. We didn't make any changes to the product. We were simply taking a generic product, not to start. In the end, we were taking the same generic product and having them print our logos on it and
on
our
the box
brand, on the
they
box,
shipped
on everything.
On everything.
Everything.
Okay.
From logos, instructions, manuals.
All right. So now you get a couple influencers. How long until you start seeing sales?
I think it was a week.
A week, and then
it was 3 months. 3 months of I met with my business partner every single day for 3 months straight. And every single day he'd come after school and we'd sit there and we'd brainstorm, and then we started building websites. We built 5 different websites.
All for this one product?
No. For different products.
Okay.
And we were so trying to find a great product, because with e-commerce, there's millions and millions of great products out there in the world. But if people aren't willing to adopt them or aren't willing to use them, etc., it's no good. So you have to find something that's not necessarily disturbing the whole market or changing everything. Find something that people are already buying. And skincare is a multi-billion-dollar industry. that people are already buying this product. Walmart's already selling this product. So-and-so's already selling this product. Just like millions of other products out there, I'd say the hardest thing just on a side note, is selling a product that no one's ever heard of or ever seen. We're not inventing things. I'm not an inventor. I didn't invent a new product to try and get people to early adopt. We were simply selling a product that we knew had some traction and other people were selling it, smaller companies, dropshipping companies, etc. But we just looked to do it better.
Okay. So 3 months later, a week later, they start making sales.
Yep.
And you just keep pressing, asking more influencers, and what happens then?
It turns into, we were getting so big to where people started questioning, it was in that phase 5 years ago where all you do is scroll through your Facebook and it would just be this product, a million different products, and maybe you'd see some reoccurring. So it started getting too big. We were getting too many sales to be sending generic products. And we thought, if we want any longevity in the game, we can't sell a box that says pour vacuum. Our first box said it would be like if you bought a pair of sneakers and they were like, what are those? Those are sneakers. It literally said on the front of the box, pour vacuum.
Okay.
And there was probably even some Chinese writing on the back that you couldn't even read the manual.
Okay.
You wouldn't even know what was going on, but you knew what the product did based on our videos. We were selling that the product worked and what the product did, and people were ecstatic. So we got to the point, I was like, if we want any longevity of selling the same product and having any returning customers, no one's going to search up pour vacuum and find us.
Right.
So we started we placed our first order with the supplier, and we said we want to start white labeling it. Go through our Adobe. I think I did most of the original designs for all our boxing, labeling, manuals, QR codes.
So this is when risk. So now you're not
slight.
So when you say slight, when you're drop shipping, you're not putting any money out. They're only sending them when people buy them. So when you white label, would they agree to white label for more money, but you didn't have to buy anything?
Less money. So our original products we're paying, when we're drop shipping, I was paying maybe $12.50 a unit.
Okay.
I'm selling it for $45, $55 a unit.
Okay.
When we start white labeling, we're paying $2.75 a unit.
How does that work? I don't understand.
Quantities though.
Okay,
not one at a time.
You were agreeing to white label a certain
X amount of quantities.
But you didn't. Did you have to buy it, or would they white label it in China or wherever it was?
They would white label it in China, and we'd want it to be shipped here, because that was another thing we were running into. Backtrack, when we're drop shipping, is shipping times, and that's what everyone fails at. You're promising these products, you're getting the money up front,
and 3 weeks later,
you're getting your product, and no one's happy about it. That's not what's selling. What people want, how can we compete with Amazon? You search on Amazon right now, pour vacuum, there's 13 of our products that we're selling. This identical to the T.
So when you white label it, you agree to buy how many?
Our first order quantity might have been 2,000.
All right. So at $3 a piece, it was a $6,000 order, not a huge thing
until you start shipping.
What do you mean?
Shipping logistics is the other tough thing with it. So when we were shipping by freight, because airplane shipping at the time, you're almost paying more to ship.
You're saying you would put it on a boat?
Yeah.
Okay. Slow boat from China.
35 days, 40 days.
Okay. And 2,000 units would come in. And so then you probably had to slow your selling because you didn't have the product.
Yeah. Yeah. To a sense. So when you did say earlier that there's no risk when you're drop shipping.
Right.
It's hard to generate sales without a large following.
Right.
Or an organic following, or influencers that are willing to post for free. Nowadays, this was 5 years ago. A lot has changed in 5 years, where we were towards the end of the market, whereas now finding an influencer with good engagement, not likes, not all the guys ooh ah, or girls on a guy's ooh ah, like engagement, people that are invested in someone's life, that want to know what they're doing for business, what they're doing next. To find someone free to post your product in return for a product, I think is very tricky to find nowadays. So we were finding free influencers, but if you were to start today, finding someone that has a lot of followers that doesn't have a manager, doesn't know their worth, it's like finding a
needle in a haystack.
Yeah, but we found a couple, even in that time. So there is cost, or people are running ads, and everyone that's saying, "Oh, look how much money I made $1.5 million last month selling on Shopify for my e-commerce brand." What good is it if you spent $975,000 on ads?
Right. Okay.
And then you have shipping costs. So it's not like everyone's making it out to seem. You're printing money with no cost unless you find a great influencer or you're friends with a really famous person that's willing to promote your product for free.
Okay. So now you do it, and I know because I remember your dad used to like mail them for you or something.
Yeah,
So you have 2,000 units. So you do an order for 2,000. Are you doing bigger orders than 2,000?
I think our last order was for 45,000 units.
45,000 units.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of units.
This was
a lot of
we had
popping.
I think a 3 months period of we were maybe selling 300 to 900 units a day.
And your dad was putting all those
Every
in boxes.
single one. He liked it better than his current job. I think. I mean, it was he'd sit there, you'd click, we had a zebra printer. It would print off a mile long of labels. You'd throw them in a box. UPS was our best friend. I mean, she would come with our own truck every 3 days, 2 days.
Oh my God.
We'd ship them out next day.
That sounds
And we
unbelievable.
had, I mean, it got so big. I'll tell you, the people that we started getting in contact with, like it was lucrative.
Okay.
From
like, what does that mean?
From Sandra Lee. Like I was in contact for 2 months trying to get Sandra Lee,
right,
Dr. Pimple Popper, to promote our product.
Right.
And all that takes when you start getting bigger and bigger is more and more money.
Okay. What was the most? So you work with the non paid influencers, and then I know at one point you decide, well, we're going to start paying influencers.
And we were in the midst there, but there's nothing better than someone posting your product for free. Whether it gets you 5 sales, 10 sales, 100 sales, it's free.
Right.
You know, when we're paying someone, I don't know if I can disclose names. I don't know. I didn't sign an NDA. So when we're paying someone like on Too Hot to Handle, Francesca Fergo, when we're paying someone $25,000 for a post, one photo. This is
one photo with her, a pimple popper. Holding it, but does she put in the link, or how does that work?
She posted out. There's all different agreements. Then so we're paying someone $25,000 for a post. That's like, oh my gosh, how can you make that back?
Right.
It's not how can you make the $25,000 back. How can you get more than $25,000 from that?
Sure.
Because that was probably one of our, not worst, but like you're spending $25,000. We're trying to make $50,000 back.
You got to sell a lot of
pimple poppers. So you better hope that's an engaged audience that you're.
And were they? And did it work? Did that part work?
I think we made $27,000. So we made what, $2,000 after shipping and everything. We made $1,500. Not worth it.
Right.
But that's why it takes so long. You can hit up anyone and pay anyone on Instagram. Right. Anyone will take the right amount of money.
Okay.
We're spending more time at this point vetting influencers, these people with 4.5, 5, 6 million followers, all the way down to, I have Bella Thorne's number.
Okay.
Like Disney superstar Bella Thorne, I think she wanted $40,000 a post, which I'm sure we'd get every bit of every click of that.
Right.
But our target audience isn't men. 65% of her following from her engagements, if I remember, are all men. We're not selling to men. Men aren't buying our products.
Right.
Women are buying our products. So sure, to some company, $40,000 for a photo might be great. Not to mention all these bigger influencers charge for usage.
What does that mean?
So you pay $40,000 for the picture, you have to pay $10,000 a month every month you want to use her likeliness. So if we want her on this website, $10,000 a month.
Oh my God. All right. So
if we want to use her for an ad, so I'll get into that.
So I mean, this is exactly what, the deep insight that this is great, because it seems very lucrative. It seems like it's easy, no upfront money, exactly your story. At the end of the day, as we close this chapter of your entrepreneur, and is this closed?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay, so all right. So as this chapter closes, is this the money that has fueled your growth in other things, or is there any money from it? Was it more effort than money?
There was money. We were 17, 18, maybe until I was 19. So like when you're making lucrative money like that at 19 years old, we weren't the kids that are like, oh, we could probably have went and bought crazy cars and done crazy things. But we were like, let's grow this into
a real thing,
printing money, like,
right.
Where we're constant, where we can step away, which at this point, by the second summer, I mean, I would wake up and $5,000 every day. Jeez. While you're sleeping. You wake up $5,000. We were making $60,000, $70,000 a month.
That's unbelievable.
With 85% margins.
That's really unbelievable.
Yeah. And it just gets harder and harder though as we're going, is we started getting into running ads more. So now we have an ad spend account on Facebook. My partner handled all our that side of ads. I handled all our marketing side, content, that sort of thing, more organic stuff. So we start running Facebook ads, $3,000 to $5,000 a day. I think we spent in total $250,000 on Facebook ads in a 6-month period. Okay. But that's a very tough thing too. Is so what you like I was saying. So what you spend $250,000 in ads to make $260,000. It's not worth it.
Juice ain't worth the squeeze.
No, it's not worth the effort, the time, the comments. There's a lot that goes into it, making the content. To get a professional video made. We've talked to just on that topic to have a good ad made. These media companies maybe like they charge
like Stewart Media Strategies. I don't know.
Some of these big ones in LA. $15,000 to $75,000 for a 75-second video.
Got it. It's a lot.
But it looks like an Old Spice commercial,
Sure.
So you better hope if you're forking up that money that ad is going to return.
Right. So as we close this chapter, did you at the end of the day invest? Did you make money? Did you leave with money?
Yeah. We also left with a lot of inventory though. So our largest order quantity at the end, which I think still sitting at my dad's warehouse, was we ordered it, and 2 weeks later, Apple comes out with the whole thing with Facebook.
Right.
We're not going to let you track anymore. So then everyone got that notification on their phone, asked to track, asked not to track. When everyone clicks don't track, our ads that were printing money on Facebook and Meta can no longer.
They're done.
They're done. We're targeting a 40 to 50-year-old woman with acne or looking that up, and it's showing it to a 17-year-old girl that doesn't have any money. That is important. But to answer your question, as far as the money, we left with some money. We put it into real estate. So that's where I kind of started my real estate journey in that sense with single-family homes and rentals.
All right. So this sort of ends, and I suspect this ends with college, right? When you decide to go to school or no?
No, I think I was still at Boulder.
All right.
So I don't know the exact timeline. I was still at Boulder because my dad, I was constantly hitting up influencers and still texting
while
influencers.
You were at. So you went to Boulder. So you went to what's the name of the school?
CU Boulder.
Okay, so you go out to Boulder,
Colorado. Yeah.
To go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You get out there and you've got remnants of this business happening, and you're out there and can't be drop shipping and doing. I mean, you got to study, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or
I was
ski.
studying. I was studying, skiing. I had great grades there. I did well.
But you didn't finish there.
No.
So a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't finish maybe college where they started, and some of them don't finish college at all. So you're at Boulder. What happens to bring you back to Toledo?
The big C, COVID. Yeah, I was there first. What's the semester? 4 months?
Yep.
3.5 months. First 3.5 months, living the dream, lovely. My roommate actually dropped out after the first semester, so then I was even living more of the dream. My own room.
By yourself, sure.
Great time, and then I think 2 months into our second semester, I think they put a sticky note on our door. You have a week and a half to move out.
Got it.
Pack your things and go home, or find somewhere to live. And most of my friends out there are all from California. All of my friends were from California or the surrounding areas. I didn't meet anyone from the East Coast or the Midwest. So I was kind of, do I try and find somewhere to live while I'm looking for a new apartment?
Right.
Or do I
come back to
home?
Toledo?
Yeah. So I was driving home, taking my classes in the car because I had nowhere else to go. And finding a place in Boulder, Colorado, if you don't know the demographic, it's not a It's not a $600 rent a month. It's
very expensive.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Colorado where they're skiing and you like to ski and snowboard, and so that had to be a major buzzkill.
Yeah, and it was tough too, just with the political scene there and whatnot. They didn't really tell us if we were going to come back, so I wasn't willing to pay the money to go to Boulder, Colorado, and sit in my dorm, sit in my my apartment or my house all day because they didn't tell us if we were going back in person or staying out. So I decided to stay home for the next year.
Okay, so you stay home for the next year, and what do you do during that time?
What did I do? I think I got into the landscape a little bit more.
Okay.
I think I was maybe trying to get back into e-com a little bit.
So when Apple came out with their, I think it was iOS 14 or something around there, that pretty much put the brakes on everybody. And at the same time, COVID, your world is completely disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And were you also exhausted from e-commerce? I mean, is
Oh.
it you weren't exhausted from it?
It got to the point where it was the easiest thing in the world. It was it really is. It gets to the point where it is definitely the easiest internet.
Well,
money
especially when your dad is putting all this stuff in the boxes.
And we could have had a fulfillment center, but he was willing to do it, and
Right.
it made it so we could see everything going out and see how many orders we're getting. But I don't want to ever say that everybody lost or nobody was doing well, because that's never the case. Someone was definitely still doing well, and someone was definitely figuring it out, because in that time when iOS 14 came out, TikTok was coming out,
right,
and we were, again, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids,
right,
that were too naive to think, oh well, we should adapt and get into this avenue, or
right.
So we weren't expanding. We were focused on, all right, we're printing money on Facebook, and we even backed off influencers a little bit, because we had ads from all of the Jersey Shore casts. So we had partnered with I don't think we did Snooki. We did their names don't come to my top of my head, but truthfully, it worked. Her ads worked so well because people didn't like her.
Okay.
People would love to hate on this woman, and that was like the most lucrative ads. We
So,
liked her. She was a great person, very nice. But the ad that did so well was the one that, like, all these people that were running it towards Jersey Shore was like, oh, she's our least favorite, yet they're still buying our product from
and
her.
they would they make comments?
Oh my gosh,
we hate her,
the rudest things.
And their comments probably elevated,
boosted the video. We'd love
gosh.
it. It was the most. We did her. We did a lot of Teen Mom people. Shay from Teen Mom. A lot of Jersey Shore people. Some of the bigger ones were definitely like Bella Thorne, who's ultra famous.
Right.
We had opportunities. It got to the point where we had the opportunity to work with anyone, truthfully, for the right amount of money. I got offered to sponsor the Jake Paul fight.
Oh,
they wanted to put our name on the water bottle for $75,000, or on the ring for I think $150,000, and it's like,
yeah,
is that our audience? Are we going to get a return? It's a very
probably
hard.
Not.
No, that's for companies that have a name. We're going for conversion ads. All we were focused on is conversion. We're not going for Nike brand awareness. We're not running $1.5 million commercial to show a swoosh.
Right.
People need to see our product, see how the product
transaction.
Works. Yeah. 1-to-1,
I love
we needed
it.
a 1-to-5 ratio. We didn't have brand awareness ads running, and that was probably coming down the line, but it wasn't where we were at with it, and maybe we weren't building the brand how it should have been at the time, but we certainly learned.
Right. So that's all hands off. Your hands aren't dirty. You're maybe they're a little sticky from closing the packages or licking stamps.
Yeah.
How do you transition from doing that where you're printing money to digging holes and putting mulch down?
So that started at the same time. I was doing that still when I was doing the e-commerce. I started when I first got my license, me and my good friend Zach, I was like, listen, these people are asking us to do, little cleanups and little stuff. We wanted just extra cash. And at that time, a little extra cash when you're 16, 17 years old and you're making $300-$400 maybe a day, every other day, it's good money. So started with my friend Zach and just one truck, and did little cleanups and loading and unloading things from a truck. And I think the whole time I was telling myself, I know this isn't really what I want to do. I never thought there was money in it, or
in landscaping.
Yeah, certainly not. At least at the scale we were doing it. And I never mowed. From day one, I never mowed anyone's lawn. I still have never mowed anyone's lawn.
Okay. So you're anti-mow.
Because I had a lot of friends, older friends, my dad's friends that were in the business, and saw what they were doing and saw where the money's at. But it definitely started small. Friends, referrals. Oh, I was maybe posting on my personal Facebook, posting things here or there. If you need us to clean your leaves, or like going to knock on someone's door to shovel their snow, essentially. And it was slow. I'd be promising my friends work, and I think I was even splitting it. I think I was, I would cover my expenses, maybe give me an extra 5%, and I'd split it with everyone.
And what is your business like today? What's your landscaping business like?
Definitely grown since. I did have a mowing division last year. I quickly got out of that. Too much customer relations. People too upset about, you cut my lawns right way and I want it left way. So it's definitely focused a lot on hardscape, landscape construction. Landscape design is our really big thing. We love to do a full tear out and a full new install.
Right.
So now it's grown in from one, I think, Chevy Colorado or Chevy Dakota to 3 work trucks, 2 dump trailers, Bobcats.
Really?
Electric wheelbarrows, 6 employees, a salesman.
That's unbelievable.
And so it's grown, certainly. And
do you think that what you learned when you were 17 in selling pimple poppers has had an influence on how you've marketed this and how you've structured this business?
I think in a way, but it's certainly different. Local advertising compared to one-to-one sales, selling a product is a lot different than selling a service.
You know immediately, or what makes it different?
What makes it different? It's a lot easier to buy a $40 product than be sold on something that you haven't seen. We're selling products we're selling service that, well, here's a 22-year-old kid,
right,
telling me he's going to do a $35,000 landscape job. Can it really happen? What am I getting for $35,000? We do 3-dimensional designs for anyone that's wondering. I don't know how many people do that in the area, but we do 3D designs now for larger projects. And we also do 2-dimensional sketches, but it's definitely a harder sell when we're not selling a $45 product.
It's not immediate. I can't imagine it's not.
You can't see the results right away.
Right.
When we were advertising for the pimple popper or any e-commerce brand for that sort, if you're selling a massage chair, or let's not even do it with the pimple. If you're selling a massage chair, what do? They show the video of the person sitting in the massage chair, and then they zoom in and they show what the massage chair does.
Right.
It'd be very hard to sell, hey, here's a massage chair, and you never saw someone getting a massage in it, or if it works, or what it massages, or
sure,
or cream, or anything of that factor.
Well, and the having the influencers, and yeah, sure, a $40 transaction is much easier. Yeah. The time frame is much shorter, and if you put an ad up, if it doesn't sell them immediately, it's probably never selling them. Whereas the sales here is you have to build a relationship. You have to have your influencers. Your influencers currently are the guy's neighbor who had his job done, who says, hey, you should try Sammy's business. Yeah. And you couldn't pay someone, you pay Cardi Finkbeiner, to say, hey, go to get Sammy to do your hardscape. That wouldn't work.
You could definitely run ads for our business, and I've been looking more and more into it, but it's even different than, we're doing a lot less mulch. We're doing a lot less lawn mowing. We're doing landscape design, landscape construction, water features, things of that sort. That it's hard, even maybe in the demographic area that we're in, to get people to want to spend money on these things and be at their house and have outdoor things that they enjoy. A lot of it has to do with the weather here. Right. You only spend maybe 4.5, 5 months outside where we live. So a lot of people don't see as, am I going to spend umpteen $1,000s on my backyard, or am I going to go spend it on a vacation home or go somewhere else? So as far as the market and selling larger products here, it's much different than selling a service, or a smaller service, or a smaller product.
So what's been your biggest challenge in your entrepreneurial journey so far? What's been the toughest thing at 22 years old?
Staying consistent. It's tough when I have a lot of my friends employed. And I've employed a lot of my friends' friends and that. So it's, it's hard to earn respect and keep a relationship like that. It's hard to, I guess, deliver every day to these people. I'm promising these people their dream backyard, and it's tough when I'm relying a lot on a bunch of other 22 to 24-year-old kids that on their Friday night, or past 4 or 5 o'clock, they're ready to go home, or they're hungry.
No one's leaving until this is done. Yeah, is what I'm sure you're.
It's very tough to earn respect, and I think I have a little bit, and I think they respect. It goes both ways. I respect them. I tell them how much they help me out, but definitely the hardest thing has been the consistency. To wake up every day and go and do it and deliver to these customers and deliver on our promises. And
have you had any that have gone bad?
None that have gone bad. I'd say the ones that have gone bad are the people that were, they would have been upset whether we came or we didn't.
What do you mean?
The people that want to see the world burn, like they were already unhappy before we came, and no matter what we did at the project,
got it.
They wouldn't be satisfied. They're I'll keep coming back, but they would never be satisfied. No names, but we've spent 30 hours consulting with the customer recently, all for her to say she didn't like my salesman. Meanwhile, meanwhile, my salesman, I have two people the next day text me, oh my God, he's so amazing. He's so knowledgeable. He's great. So it's a lot of, it's tough. You know, those are the bad ones. Those are the bad customers that they want the world for nothing. You know, they have a caviar taste and no budget. And I'm not telling them that they should spend this amount of money, but what they want
is what
simply
it
costs this amount of money. And if they think we're too expensive, I advise them to go get another bid. And if someone can do it for half the price, I'd be super concerned. I would tell them, you know, if someone's telling you that they can do our $20,000 job for $10,000, I'd be extremely concerned. And I don't know if I'd ask you to call us when they finish.
What is the biggest job that you've done so far? Size-wise and price-wise?
The price of the job?
Sure.
The largest last year, which we're still wrapping up this year because we started in, what was that, end of September. So we worked almost into December. I think 168 or 100.
That's a backyard job?
Yeah.
That's a big backyard. I would think that's a big backyard.
A lot of hardscape. I think we did 600 linear feet of wall block, paver patio with a fireplace, 300-foot walkway out to the water. We have a waterfall going in the front yard this year.
Wow.
And I don't know, $12,000, $15,000 worth of plants and a lot of rock.
Jeez, that's great.
But you know, when you see a $160,000 price tag, it's because the house is so big and the materials cost a lot.
Right.
And the original estimate we sent for how the house we would have liked to be done, I think, was $230,000. But if you build $1 million house, I think the average that you should spend about 15 to 25% on landscape.
I'm sure you want them to.
Wouldn't you? You know, if you build $1 million house,
of course.
You'd probably expect to pay that much to have the backyard that would fit your house best. I'm not saying you can't do $5,000 worth of landscape and have it look decent, but you're not going to get what you see in the pictures or what you see
on TV. You mean it doesn't take like 24 hours on TV,
and it doesn't take $20,000. When you see if you see a backyard and you pull up and you're like, wow, this is extremely nice. I'm talking like over the top. Don't think they didn't pay for over the top. Okay. All these houses in Los Angeles, San Antonio, obviously where money's a lot different. The average backyard, when people are buying these $3-4 million houses, they're spending $200,000 to $850,000, like base price. That's for a very nice hardscape, concrete, you know, the pergola, the outdoor TV, the pool, you're looking at $800,000.
That's a big backyard. What do you see as or let me ask you this. In your current business and your previous business, if you were to give advice to a person that's even younger than you, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur right now? Or someone who wants to be?
I think what a lot of people say is I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the work. It would be very hard to do this work every day if I absolutely hated it, no matter how much money I'm making. Just like the e-commerce, there were points where it wasn't enjoyable because, you know, whether it's dealing with a business partner or whatever, you know, you have to enjoy it to want to keep doing it. It doesn't matter how much money we were making. It's very hard to go and do something every day and be consistent at it and enjoy it. And on that topic is you have to be consistent.
So you got to love what you're doing.
Yeah, and be consistent. And it's hard to be consistent on something you don't like doing.
Sure.
Like school. Maybe a lot of people have an issue with that, or just going to work.
Right.
Even my guys, sure, they sometimes dread work, but I really think everyone there, not that they don't enjoy what they're getting paid, they enjoy the work. You know, it's fun. We're with our friends. We meet a lot of great customers. You know, these people are out here talking to us all day, and we're bringing their ideas to life, and we get to hear, wow, this looks amazing. Wow, we really like this.
Affirmation is nice.
Certainly.
That's great.
And I'd say get help early. You know, if you're going to be a new entrepreneur, I definitely wear a lot of hats doing the business that I'm in, but when you can get to a position, and even maybe before you're in that position, it helps to, one, help other people with the job, because that always comes back to you, you know, with a nice pat on the back or then some. But it helps to take some of the workload off you so you can focus more on what you're good at. On that, I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm not good at doing the bookkeeping. I probably could be great at it. I don't have the patience to sit there and organize my receipts and do those sort of things and worry about it come tax time. So that's like one thing that I sub out.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
What's the future?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say with where the economy is and how things are going.
What would you like the future to be? What would you like your business to grow into?
I'd say the first stop shop in the Toledo or Sylvania area for like any outdoor living space. I want to get more into the outdoor living spaces, the outdoor kitchens, the outdoor more entertainment zones, and building beautiful backyards. But I think the obstacles that come with that in our area is really the money that people are spending on their yards. I don't think it's a shortage of people that have money or could spend that, but they're not allocating it to their house in Toledo, Ohio. Always,
Right.
There's a very small market in Toledo, Ohio, for even a $200,000 landscape job.
Yeah, that's a big job. In
But
Toledo,
you
Ohio.
go up to Rochester Hills, you go up closer to Columbus.
Sure.
These people are spending $5 million on their landscape projects.
You need some of those.
It would be great. Those are all year projects. I recently met with a gentleman who owns, I think, the largest landscape company in east of the Mississippi, roughly. I mean, they did, I think he said $75 million last year.
Okay.
But a lot of that comes with maintenance, mowing, but they're all commercial.
Right.
The other thing, on the commercial side here, we don't even have too many large commercial properties that are doing extravagant landscape jobs. Maybe a lot of the new condos and stuff, if we start getting into building larger water features, there's definitely money in that, but that's getting in with a builder, and I'm a 22-year-old kid, so we're slowly getting there. I was approached with my first monument for a new subdivision out in Holland area, so we're in the process of designing that, like a dual entrance monument, a lot of hardscape masonry work essentially. So
I'm awesome, man. This is great. It sounds like you are you're killing it. Congratulations on your first business, your second business, and your all of your entrepreneurial endeavors. I don't normally say this to people, but if somebody wants your services, how do they get in touch with you?
You can give me a call, reach out on Facebook. You can call us at 419-270-1659. I'd be happy to send my estimator and salesman Keith over, do a lovely design for you, or just get you on the schedule. And hopefully we look forward to working with any of you.
Cool, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on.
You got it.